Arcades were found to be compliant and therefore recommended for immediately to be open to public for operation. Number 1, Aneti Plaza, Aponyemo Building, Apple Towers, Arua Parker Mall, Arua Parker Plaza, Atalanta Textile, Batia Tower.
However, 7 arcades out of the 146 that were inspected did not meet the expectations. Some of the requirements included installation of cameras, approved building plans, proper ventilation and lighting, proper hygiene, mainly clean toilets with sufficient water supply. In an operation mounted by KCCA, several arcades that had opened without clearance were ordered to close as they sought themselves out.
We have noted with concern that some arcades have reopened without fulfilling compliance requirements set out. These are to be enforced upon without compromise. We have this morning closed Gazaland and Corner Arcade for denying access to the inspection team. A
sound warning has also been given to all arcade owners who will go against the reopening requirements.
We are continuing the enforcement exercise and shall not hesitate to prosecute anyone continuing to put people's lives in danger.
To ensure continued compliance, there is going to be continuous monitoring.
Continually be monitoring on a random sample basis of all the arcades to ensure that they know that you're watching them and they keep the SOPs in place.
All hawkers starting Monday have been asked to avoid the 4 Gazette streets of Kampala city.
Endeavor or try to attempt us, and you come and start doing your operations around those roads which were prohibited. That is Chikubo Lane, Nabugabo Road, then Mini Place, and the whole of Namirembe, Romo Street. I don't expect any hawker to dare us and see what might happen.
Minister for Kampala, Minsa Kabanda, says they have commenced on plans to relocate all hawkers and those vending on verandas to Safi Market.
Vending is not allowed according to the HE's directive. So our plan is to relocate them to Usafi Market. We're also going to gazette a few streets where vending is going to be allowed so that they have spaces where they can operate.
Earlier this month, 9 teams were set up to inspect and assess the status of arcades to establish whether they conform to the set safety standards. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Now, furthermore, in our news tonight, Kakumiro district residents have been asked to stay away from swamps to avoid compromising the area's ecosystem. The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja was meeting with Kakumiro District Roads Committee during her homecoming visit since becoming a Prime Minister.
Touching down at Kakumiro playgrounds in the early hours of Friday morning was Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to a warm welcome of both local and religious leaders. She headed straight for the scientific meeting of the District Roads Committee.
The road from Kakumiro, Nkoko, Kisita, Nkoko, Mtwetwe, Masoke is going to be worked on by CCC as contract financing.
Her love for development of road infrastructure is not just a thing of yesterday. 1, 2, 3. Way before she became State Minister for Health and now Prime Minister, as an area member of Parliament, this was always one of her priorities. Today, roads in Kakumiro are moderately developed thanks to her efforts.
Kakumiro has more than 10,000 kilometers of feeder roads, and our district cannot manage to maintain them. So we have agreed as the District Roads Committee to upgrade some roads to trunker roads to that grade, to that level, and also we have also agreed to work on some roads with the money that we have.
Now we need to improve on the access road so that our farmers from villages can bring their crops, their agriculture output to the main road so that they can be bought at the increased prices so that they get out from that poverty.
With the new roads committee established, all that is projected is more development of road infrastructure. Agaba Isa, the MP for Bugangaizi East constituency, is the newly elected chairperson of the Kakumiro District Roads Committee.
So we shall work hand in hand together with the district committee, with other honorable members, so that we can develop our roads in our district.
Roads are a very critical segment of development in any economy. For us as a district, we are charged with the feeder roads and the access roads, the community roads. Of course, we have the other trunk roads, which are a prerogative of UNRA.
Such moves by area members of parliament have been welcomed by the locals.
Enguudo zaitu za Kakumiro Town Council tukugonza zona zilimwe.
Enguudo zaffe zikyali bubi naddala ezifulumya kugombolola headquarter yaffe n'ezifulumya ku ddwaliro lyaffe.
But behind this optimism is a challenge of wetland encroachment, which the Ugandan cabinet recently passed a resolution against.
We agreed that we have to preserve and protect our environment, more especially swamps. These are unique heritage that we have as a country, and I want to advise Ugandans to leave swamps alone.
Nabanja left Kakumiro as a woman member of parliament, only to return as a prime minister.
I have where I come from, and this is where I call home.
In this, her first official homecoming visit, all she pledges is more work and less talk. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Leaving as a woman MP and coming back as a prime minister. Wow. Story of success right there. Now, police in College District is holding a head teacher who swindled candidates' examination fees. Dennis Obal, the head teacher of St. Gabriela Memorial Comprehensive School, Secondary School in College District, was nabbed from his hideout after his students could not access their UCE 2020 results. It is alleged that Obal collected over 7 million shillings from 35 students, but remitted only 600,000 shillings to UNEB.
A week after the release of Uganda's Certificate of Education results by the Ministry of Education and Sports, students of Sister Gabriela Memorial Comprehensive Secondary School in College District have not yet seen their results. This is because their head teacher allegedly swindled the money meant for examination fees, and therefore the exams were withheld.
I sent my message to 6600 to see my result, but unfortunately I got that message written that I have to first go to school to find out further details.
Since the results for all the seniors came back, how was it? I'm not there yet.
The school, they are saying that there is still a debt for the payment of the UNEB result. So the UNEB, they still need that money to be cleared, and then results should be released out.
The head teacher collected 7,175,000 shillings as examination fees from 31 candidates in 2020, but remitted only 600,000 to UNEB. Abal has been charged with embezzlement and forgery.
Please help us. I chose school fees or Koduch. I chose exam fees or Kodushu. I'm a petty Ginoruch, I'm a guy.
Although the school authorities declined to comment on the issue, parents of Sister Gabriela Memorial Comprehensive Secondary School have given the head teacher a 3-day ultimatum to deliver their children's results. I'm Edio, reporting for UBC News.
after the pain of paying school fees. Wow, the plight of a parent right there. The 35 Karamojong girls from the Park district have been repatriated from Kenya. The girls were handed over to a team from the Ministry of Internal Affairs together with representatives of the civil society organizations. Details follow.
35 Karamojong girls who had been trafficked to Kenya a few years ago have been repatriated. The girls, who were accompanied by immigration officials from Kenya, were handed over to a team from the Ministry of Internal Affairs together with civil society organizations working with children.
They are mainly female Ugandans from Napak, Karamoja region, and they ended up in Nairobi as victims of human trafficking.
These girls were minutes later subjected to COVID-19 tests at the customs before being transported back to their respective homes in Napak district.
Traffickers are not it's not that ugly looking person. Traffickers, right now the trends are that it is your relatives, friends to your relatives, your friends. They are the ones who will tell you of that opportunity to travel abroad. And you'll find that the children now we are returning, some of them are recruited. Fellow children are taking them, but also, the people who want to take advantage of them. Because you will find that, when you get the promise of a job, all the children want to get a job or something.
The girls are to be rehabilitated at Kobulin Rehabilitation Center before being reunited with their families.
We shall do counseling for the parents whose children had gone to Nairobi, because we know they have also gone through a lot. They need to accept that their children are now coming back with their different challenges. Some have children, so the parents need to be able to accept them the way they have come back. After that, we'll be able to reunite them with their families, and after reunification, we'll support them to be able to start up income-generating activities. We'll provide small capital, we'll provide basic needs, so that these children, again, are not feeling too much vulnerable while at their home.
Government officials later met local leaders to try and understand the trafficking pushing factors.
I want to appeal to all parents, because this starts with the parents who mistreat their children, who don't have the parental love for the children. It makes children have so many questions in their minds, and it makes children leave their homes and go to other parts of the world, other parts of the country.
I have 30 survivors of trafficking who are my advisors. Do you know what they told me? The majority of them have children, that the children have been abandoned, by their husbands or by their partners. It is now women taking care of their children, and they need to work.
With over 200 more Karamojong girls yet to be repatriated from Kenya and many others in urban areas, especially eastern Uganda and Kampala, there is need for a concerted effort to curb the vice.
Now, still in Napak, political leaders in Karamoja sub-region have been blamed condoning insecurity. The chairperson Moroto District, David Korianga, and woman MP Adero Rose Loki say that most political leaders cover up criminals, especially during the political season. This was during a sensitizing meeting led by the 3rd Division Commander Brigadier General Joseph Baliku Dembe and attended by elders, Karachunas, ex-warriors, local council leaders and religious from all districts, of Moroto and Napak.
Clementina Achuchu has been a warrior for some good years. He was once arrested and court-martialed over illegal possession of firearms. But he recently, Achuchu reformed and surrendered to UPDF. He narrates how hard is being a warrior.
When you want to take tea, they say that, please, there is another gun out here. So they are playing.
Achuchu calls upon Karamojongs who still own guns to voluntarily handing them to UPDF for peaceful Karamoja. The RCC for Moroto District, Asanansi Okaizi, wants government to set a rehabilitation and skill development center for the reformed warriors to avoid going back to the vice.
Even this disarmament exercise to set up a very good rehabilitation center, educational and skills center, where these guys can be put for some good months or some good years, where they can get to be rehabilitated, their brains, their morals, their souls, so that they can now be integrated in the community for social and economic activities.
Meanwhile, political leaders in Karamoja sub-region have been blamed for condoning insecurity in the region by not reporting culprits over fear of losing their seats.
It can be we leaders when we try to harbor and support the culprits. When we are not able to disclose them out yet they live with us. We know them, we know their families. We tend to refuse with them. We tend to refuse the looting, the stolen, because they come, they bring from other districts. But in reality, it is time to become a leader's hindrance.
Now leaders of the two districts of Morota and Napak have pledged total support to the current Usalama Kwawetu operation.
For me, I'm a leader. I want to say before my living God and before you, since I started in 2001 up to now, I have never at any moment, and I will not try to talk good about the raider. Because even when this raider gets you, he will kill you. He will not leave you. The gun will not know that you are the leader to a tutu. No, it will not.
The meeting was attended by UPDF, police, prison, local council leaders, RDCs among others from Morota and Napak district. Maureen Iga compiled the report.
And with that, let's take a short commercial break. We'll return with business. Stay tuned.
When John and Mary were 6 years old, they were introduced to savings by their parents and class teacher. They set dreams inspired by their saving clubs at school.
I'm saving for a ball. I'm saving for a school bag.
As time passed by, the set dreams were achieved, and they were further motivated to set fresh, bigger and better dreams, all of which came to pass.
I'm currently saving to buy a bicycle.
I'm now saving for an academic tour.
Dear parents, guardians and teachers, it is our duty to empower our children and people around us to make reasonable monetary choices and introducing a lifelong money-saving culture. Now is the time to start saving for our dreams and a much better tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the German Corporation, German Sparkassen Stiftung Eastern Africa, and Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go. MTN.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. Now we take you to the world of business. The banking sector is committed to finding new ways of lending to the business community for business sustainability. The Chief Executive Officer Stanbic Bank, Anjuko, says that their current focus is to achieve a fine balance between growing shareholder value and supporting customers to remain resilient through the pandemic. Anjuko made this pledge at the release of the 2021 half-year financial performance for the bank.
Okay, so quick
And when it talks to lending, it's not enough for us to provide liquidity or lending that lubricates the economy. We are also very, very committed to reducing the cost of lending in this country. And to that end, I'm pleased to report that we have the lowest prime lending rate of 15.9%, and that rate continue. We are committed to finding new ways to lending to Ugandans at rates that are lower increasingly, as we work through the structural blockages that prevent us from being able to provide cheaper credit. One by one they go, and as they go, the cost of credit comes down. You'll remember, friends, that a little while ago it was hard to identify ourselves. We didn't have a national ID. We now have a national ID. We didn't have a credit reference bureau. We now have a credit reference bureau with credit history. So our ability to reduce the cost of lending is growing every day. And as we apply technology and new ways of work, we will see this coming through. And that benefit we give back to our customers.
Overall, when we look at our performance again, our costs went up during the first half of the year as compared to 2020. And this is because we continue to invest in technology to support our clients to continue to transact seamlessly through our digital platforms, and that is the FlexiPay. We also continue to invest in order to build our relationships with our clients through our Salesforce system during this first half of the year. During the year, we also saw our balance sheet grow by close to 10% on the asset front and close to 8 or 9% in the liabilities, which shows that our clients remained very confident in banking with us. And also, we remain confident about the economy and continue to invest by lending to clients.
Furthermore, fishing is one of the economic activities in Uganda with the potential to positively turn around the country's economy. Illegal fishermen, however, remain a challenge to the activity, a reason why the Fisheries Protection Unit of the Uganda People's Defence Forces was established. State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, says that the sector is seeking to harmonize working relationships between fishermen and the army officers. These are the details.
The State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, was recently at Kigungu landing site in Entebbe municipality to resolve a standoff between the fishing community and the Fisheries Protection Unit of the Uganda People's Defence Forces. This followed an incident in which a UPDF officer on patrol was abducted and murdered.
There are criminals that used to come and raid the fishermen here in Lake Victoria. They come and get you fishing, they grab your fish, they grab your nets and boats and run away. So they are here to protect you.
Days after this resolution, a similar issue was back to the floor of Parliament this week as a matter of national concern.
It is dismaying to note right now that the compensation has never been done. But be that as it may, there is still continuous torture of the fishing communities by the Marine Protection Unit.
This claim by John Taylor, the Member of Parliament for Bugabula North, was backed up by a handful of other legislators representing districts with islands.
Still a team was sent in the very communities to go and carry out investigations, but up to now, no report has been produced, and the fate of our people who were tortured is not known.
A lady called Akelo Mili was killed by the Fish Protection Unit in Lake Kyoga. And this is not an isolated situation.
It took an explanation from State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, to calm the heat.
I will have time to consult with the General Chanda to find out what the resolutions they got during that time.
When you have a meeting, you'll hear maybe more than what can be spoken here, and then you report back to this House.
This directive from Deputy Speaker of Parliament was just in line with what the fisheries sector of the Ministry of Agriculture is doing to curb illegal fishing.
We want to register every landing site afresh. We want to register the boats afresh. We want to track the boats and see that fisheries is reorganized.
There is a traditional background, how the fishermen came to the lake and the existence of the lake. Me as a leader, I call for coexistence between the lake and the users.
The lake is for all of us, and no one should own it. This is God-given resource. Therefore, nobody can say he should be compensated for illegal fishing.
As for compensation of fishermen injured in the process of enforcement, it is a matter to be discussed at a decision-making level.
What I know, there is too much illegal fishing again going on compared to the first deployment, which we need to make the fishers know it is not about the Fisheries Protection Unit, it's about them.
Illegal fishing has been a thorn in the foot of one of Uganda's biggest foreign exchange earning sectors. The Fisheries Protection Unit was put in place by Uganda People's Defense Forces to help stop illegal fishing. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, in the world of sports, as praises for Joshua Cheptegei and his other colleagues for a great show at the Olympics continue, the State Minister for Sports, Hamson Obua, is calling for a concerted effort to grow the sports sector. Hamson Obua is the leader of the delegation for Team Uganda that has, on the penultimate day of the Games, already won 4 medals, including 2 golds. Let's take a look.
Joshua Cheptegei's latest achievement of gold in the Olympics 5,000 meters has excited every Ugandan and those elsewhere that follow sports. But as others jubilate, Joshua Cheptegei has like ever remained a humble man, attributing his success to everyone that enabled him reach thus far.
Kind of surprise welcome. It's my pleasure to say that from the bottom of my heart, I did this not for me personally, but for you all, and I really want to say thank you everyone who has been part of this journey, especially from the coach, from the Federation, National Council, Olympic Committee. Thank you guys.
State Minister for Sports Hamson Obua, who is also the leader of delegation in Japan, expects the country to base in this performance to pay attention to the sports subsector.
We are a nation blessed. We are a nation gifted. We only need to put our hands together, invest a little more in sports, because sports can bring about unity in diversity. Sports can bring about socio-economic development. Sports has turned into an income-generating activity.
The minister's reasons are reiterated by Uganda Olympic Committee President Donald Rukari, who also calls for continuity for Uganda to stamp its authority.
We'd like first of all to congratulate Joshua on this very epic performance, winning a gold in the 5,000 meters this evening at the Olympic Stadium. Congratulations to Joshua, his coaches, the UAF, and everybody. The government has put in the support, the UOC and CS. This is indeed a very historic day for Uganda. This brings our tally to 2 gold medals, 1 silver and bronze. I believe one of the best ever performances Team Uganda has at the Olympics, and would like to build on this momentum going forward. So congratulations to Joshua and the athletics team.
Uganda sent 25 athletes to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and has so far yielded 4 medals, including 2 gold, a silver and a bronze. Many believe it isn't done yet because the 2012 marathon champion is in action tomorrow morning.
Talk about unity in diversity. Sports can actually be a very, very key player in this venture. I mean, in Uganda, we have over 50 tribes. I mean, what else could unite us best, if not sports, if not religion, or other co-curricular activities? Thank you for joining us. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. Up next is the weekly business roundup.